Hello Flosstube, welcome back. It's Sian here, Periwinkle Stitcher, and today is, I think it's Wednesday, the 7th of January. To be honest, it's been that kind of time of the year where I don't even know what day it is. It's taken me all morning. This was meant to just be a sort of Flosstube extra, if you like, of my wrap-up of all of my work that I did last year in 2025. So I'm a bit late on parade, I'm sorry for that. But I have been really enjoying everybody else's Flosstubes and WIP parades. And in fact, I actually managed this time to take a few notes, and I've got a few recommendations for you if you're interested in listening to some new names. The first one that was a brand new one was Katie Ann Stitches. It was her very first Flosstube. She's only been stitching for a year, and the amount of work she's done is just incredible. And I found her particularly sort of entertaining and funny. She starts her, I think she's only 29, so I felt like she's the same age as Harriet, which I found fascinating because my girls are not interested, as you know, in cross stitch. But she was so funny. She works in leadership in project management, which is exactly the same background as me. But she says she's got anxiety, OCD, BCD, FG. She just had me in stitches, and I really enjoyed her first Flosstube. Then, of course, the disobedient housewife, Amy, she's on Flosstube 6 now, and I've been following her from the beginning because she tagged me, but I'm sorry that I didn't shout your channel out earlier. Her husband's home from the Navy now, and when she did a little WIP parade for him, he said, wouldn't it be a good idea? I think she said, what do you think I should work on? And he said, well, how about finishing one of the WIPs? And so it was so funny. She said, you know, we'll be having none of that behaviour around here, thank you. So do go and watch Amy, Disobedient Housewife. Then another relatively new Flosstuber, Emma, Rose Cottage Create. She's here in the UK. I met her at the Stitchery. She's done loads of embroidery, and yeah, she's really brilliant at doing Nikki Franklin's kits from the Stitchery. So go and follow Emma. And again, I helped her get started about a year ago when she just started cross stitching, and she's done so well on her journey with the animal crackers particularly. You'll be amazed how much she's got done. And then another relatively new one is B, Samplers with Blue. And I met her at Sampler Symposium last January at the Attic, her and her mum. She's beautiful. Everything she does is lovely. And her finish on Martha Evans by the Scarlet House is just absolutely stunning, and really motivated me to try and find mine and get going again. And then a brand new Flosstuber, and the last one I'll mention is Natalie, Sewing Room Secrets. I met her at the Peakside retreat, the Heartstring Samplery retreat in, I think it was July this year. Such a lovely lady. She's Irish, but she lives in the north of England now. And she's done the most gorgeous little finish of Whittaker, the animal cracker. And she's done a little bobble hat that she knitted for him. And literally her post on Instagram was hugely popular, sort of went viral. And she's put a little free pattern. If any of you would like to go and find her Flosstube, please like and subscribe and give her a follow and knit this little bobble hat for Whittaker. So that's who I've been enjoying the last couple of like pajama days. We had a fabulous Christmas. I had all the girls home, and the boyfriends were all back and forth, and it was just lovely. And my dad was here, of course, for Christmas Day with us. It was just so lovely. But it's my birthday weekend coming up now, and I've got Harriet coming back tomorrow. She's done a few really long shifts, 8:30 to 9:30 at night in the hospital. And so she gets 3 days off to make up for that. So she's coming back on the train tomorrow for a little sort of birthday visit to see me. How lovely. So we're going to go into town, probably have lunch at the Ivy, and then I'm away this weekend back at the Newt in Somerset, which I just love that hotel. So I'll be in the spa, swimming in the outdoor pool. Hopefully it'll be snowing again. The weather's been fabulous. The lake is frozen, still frozen. Not solid over that you can skate on it, but it's been really gorgeous weather. Cold, bitterly cold, but bright blue skies and lots of sunshine. Just fabulous winter weather. Perfect for stitching and quilting, all the things. Anyway, I wanted to come on to give you a sort of overview of what I got up to last year. And I was staggered how much I actually managed to get through when I went through my stats for the year. So I have 64 WIPs listed. I got one from 2020, which is the really old Blackbirds We Live in Hope. I haven't even opened it for 3 years. I got 2 from 2021. I don't even know what they are. I've got 9 from 2022, 13 from 2023, 14 from 2024, and 25 WIPs coming out of 2025. And what I thought I'd do today is show you those 25 WIPs that I started last year, and all 22 of the finishes. So 20 were from last year, and 2 of them were older WIPs that I completely finished. One was a knitted thing, and one was a gift. And on top of the 22 finishes, I've got 12 embroideries from the herbarium through the year that I've tried to do one every month. We haven't even had the December one yet, so I haven't done that. But I have got the label from the Stitchery Sisters, which are the little cross-stitch labels. I've got the December one of that. I've made a start on it. And I did do all of the labels. So that's an extra kind of, I've counted that as one finish, that's right. And then in terms of quilting, I haven't got any quilts to show you today, but I have finished the Lori Holt Hometown Holiday, all 48 of those gorgeous, cute little piece quilt blocks. I made all of those. I also did the fussy cut row back in the summer of the Pixie Noel, the Tasha Disney. Is it Tasha Noel or Tasha Disney? I don't know where I get Disney from. I don't think that is her name. But anyway, I did the fussy cut rows of that, and I started to piece some of the houses over Christmas, but then the family came home and I had to put it all away. I didn't get very far. And I did do one more row. I haven't put the row together, but I did do, I think, 4 blocks of that stunning Lori Holt Pumpkins and Haystacks quilt, which I just love. And that's the only time I've done the applique on the sewing machine. So anyway, without further ado, I'm going to start off showing you my finishes from last year, and then I'll show you the WIPs that I started. And if I'm looking down, it's because I've had to print everything off, because I track everything in Excel. So I've got all my finishes here. So I apologise now if I'm looking down. And Happy New Year, by the way, to you all. Okay, so my first finish of the year in 2025, this was a January finish, was my rather fabulous and beautifully framed Pomegranate Santa by Plum Street. This was on 40 count, Weeks Dye Works. I think it's the old Horrible base, but it was fine. Confederate grey, using all the called for threads, and I finished this on the 3rd of January 2025. And I think I probably had a good start on it, but finished all the block snow, and there's little Rudolph with the one red nose at the bottom. And I just love this, and it's a very similar Santa to the Merry Gentleman that she's just released now this Christmas, that I had and finished the year before in my advent box from Kit and Stitcher. And I'm delighted with the frame. I love these frames. I had 5 of them, exactly the same. The problem was when I left them at the framer, well, you'll see in a moment, I'll show you. She did beautiful frames, but she didn't put my, lace my work straight. But that one I laced myself, so that was fine. The next finish I had in January last year was this cute pillow finish called Jingle All the Way by the Scarlet House. I haven't got the charts for any of these now. Finished exactly like they did with a big rusty bell. This is stitched on 40 count, Picture This plus Swamp. I think it was the called for. It's a real grungy old green, and the white snowflakes just pop on that, using all the called for. And yeah, that's it. And Moira, again, my lovely friend from up north, who lives in Northumberland, sent me this jolly bar of gorgeous Christmas fabric. So I used that there and then to back this pillow with the cream. I thought it worked really well with some little Christmas berries. And I did the Stacy Nash seam ribbon kind of ruched binding there in these gorgeous old red threads which I just buy really cheaply online, and you can just squeeze them in water and they crinkle up and make a lovely kind of seam binding ribbon. But that's the Stacy Nash way of, you sort of couch them on, so you don't even need to do a real like intense ruffle. You can just sort of couch it over like that, and it makes a really nice sort of less fussy finish, I think. So that's another finish from last year. Then in February I finished Key to My Heart by With Thy Needle and Thread, and I've stuffed this with walnut shells, so it's got a lovely weight to it. This was stitched on 40 count R&R creme brulee, and it's called Key to My Heart, and I backed it with some fabulous French General, and I think it's Sizzle, the Lady Dot Creates chenille trim, and just a couple of little covered balls that I get from Cloudcraft when they're in stock, because it just matched the bluebirds there perfectly. So I just love that finish, and I think I've lent that chart to Britta to do next. So that was a lovely kind of Valentine's piece. Then I had the Heart and Hands. Right, so this is in my lovely little Winterberry case, which I've got the little thing from Minnie McBean's there, the little baby strawberry. And yeah, bless her, I did ask Sue for that, and she kindly found one for me and let me have it. I think I copied someone else with that idea. This is the beautiful case that we had from I've forgotten, the shop in America. Anyway, it's all lined with all my precious pink things. Some pink Kohanas. I can't remember. This is for one of the stitches that came out in market last year. A French one that I haven't started. Yeah, just some little Kohana treasures. Had that in my advent calendar from the Stitchery last year, Needleminder. And this is where I keep this next finish. So this is the Heart and Hand Needle Keep. It's a really old chart. I've had it for years by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. It's got a little stitched basket of flowers on the back, and it's just finished with a little bow, and inside I just cut the felt. I think I would have copied exactly as Brenda would have said, and put some beads just to trim the edge, and it is the most precious little thing. I love it. It was a really quick stitch. This is on 36 count Weeks Beige. I don't know if that was the call for. I think it might have been. And it's just, can you see all the muted sort of peachy pinks there? I think it's mainly DMC actually, if I remember, but I'm not sure. And so that was a finish from February, which obviously I thought that was a bit Valentine's. So that kind of lives in there. And then another finish I had, I think this was from Market, was the Stacy Nash Velvet Pink Pear Needlebook. So this was finished with the rhubarb, was it? The velvet, and some green felt that you just made the little top and leaf, and the little cross on the front just finishes this, I think, and makes it look like a pear. So the front is padded and the back is just flat velvet over the card, or maybe just one piece of padding, and the front's got quite a few pieces to make it gorgeous and puffy. It's lovely. And then inside you've got the little hedgehog, and this one was stitched on 40 count Needle Bling Shrekie's Tan, which really is quite pink. You can see, hopefully you can see the colour there. So that's just a darling finish that I just love. Everything she does really is so, I don't know, perfect, isn't it? All the crackers and the little velvet pears and things. I've got others that I need to make and haven't even started. Then my next finish, so I did that one in March. That was after Market. Then this was a Market release. In April, I finished Coco's Garden. This is by Teresa Kogut. I finished it exactly like the lady, it says on the pattern who was the finisher, is Susan from, where did Pam and Steph used to work there. On my mind, as soon as the camera goes live, I forget all the shops. Okay, Hobby House was the place that I meant to mention before, but I've forgotten now what I got at Hobby House. Oh, this leather case. The Winterberry cases come from Hobby House. And Keepsakes is the lady that finished this for Teresa, worked at Keepsakes, or does the finishing for Keepsakes. And so I copied her instructions precisely. They're on Teresa's website. And I used the template to cut out this gorgeous, it's either Acufactum or I think it's actually Amiably True, that stripe, which the Stitchery stock or used to stock online. Nikki Franklin's the Stitchery. And I've lined it with a pink Lori Holt, sort of springy pink that matched the cotton threads. And this is called Coco's Garden on 36 count Picture This Plus Legacy. And just with the seam ribbons again that are really cheap online, and you just scrunch them up. And it's just the cutest finish. And I think when I had to pull these all out from boxes all over the house, but I had some dried flowers in there at Easter time, but you could put eggs in there or whatever you like. And it's just got some garden wire underneath that you cover with the seam ribbon. It's a really cheap, quick finish and some strong interfacing inside. So that's a really cute one. And I think that's mainly DMC again. Then my next finish, which I put on my denim jacket. Do you remember I pimped up my denim jacket to go on one of the retreats? So I've got the Hand and Lock from London badge there. I've got a cute little thimble with the little coloured things in there, which I picked up when I went to that special quilt shop in America. On my way back from Kentucky. I'm not going to remember what it was called. Right on the river. Anyway, it'll come to me. I've got my Queen of the May, Elizabeth Stevenson little patch on the back. This precious one that Steph, Lake Girl Stitches, gifted me when I went to... oh man, where did I meet her? We went on a retreat. Oh guys, my memory, I'm half asleep today. Not Sampler Symposium. And then I went to Nashville with Phil earlier this year to the Rustler Hat Company. Got the remember I got my old cutter cross stitch inside there. And a couple of things from the Levi shop in Nashville. And the whole purpose of showing you this is because this was my next finish. This is the tiny Millie the Mouse, which came in the Stitchery Sisters Summer Strawberry book. And this is on 46 count needle and flax Thornfield. And I think it's stitched, surely not 1/1. No, it can't be. It must just be on 46 count. So you could either do it 1/1 on a kind of easier one, but I just did it on 46 and it's the perfect size. Made it into a badge. You just padded it. I think Nikki gave a tutorial on how to make it into a little badge. So that's what I did, but you could also put it in a locket. And Emma, Rose Cottage Creates, made hers into a gorgeous little necklace. She did it 1/1 and put it in a little locket, which is so cute. So that was my Millie Mouse by the Stitchery Sisters, finished into a brooch. I missed one. Then back at market, Stacy Nash also released Lily, the Animal Cracker, and I finished mine on 36 count Seraphim antique lace. I bought a little crown for her, which should stand up, off Amazon. And I did put just a few beads on her kind of warty bits on her face. Just some sort of holographic kind of, they're Mill Hills from years ago when I did the Angel of Spring. They're the kind of beads left from that. I just made her a little necklace as well with a little bird. And instead of doing 1/1 on the drum, I kind of had enough of it by then. I think it's meant to look like this red band, but I just saw this little bobbin at the till down in the cowslip shop in Cornwall, and just put a little bit of fabric tape that you can get from Lady Dot Creates around it to make it look like she's holding a tape measure. So I did finish it with the back, with this lovely Rambling Rose fabric by Sandy Gervais, and Monique Johnson from Australia, remember, so kindly sent me that gorgeous Christmas plum pudding beaded decoration and 2 fat quarters of this Rambling Rose, so I can always have the same matching pocket on the back of my crackers for the little scissors to go in. So there she is, Lily. She is beautiful, if I say so myself. And she was on 36 count Seraphim antique lace. So I'll put her back because she stays out on my desk all the time. Then the next one, one small finish. I did buy the Mary Jo Heine set of 6 red strawberries, and I made one. I never did get back to them and do the rest. It was quite tricky to do the little silk leaves because they're all individually done, but I really love how it turns out. I think it looks just fabulous with the little sequins, and the beads go onto a sequin and are then pinned down into the velvet. So I've got 5 more of those to make at some point, but that's my Mary Jo Heine velvet. Then I finished the Little Sparrow sewing box. Now this was a kit by Stacy Nash Primitives, and I had the chart. Somebody kindly sent me the chart. I should have looked it up. I think I managed to pick the box up. That's right, when I was with Stacy Nash down at Cowslip. And then the lady kindly sent me the chart so that I could finish the piece inside. So this is called the Little Sparrow Sewing Box, and it's on 36 count R&R Liberty Gathering Grey. I don't think that was the call for. I think it was just a scrap I had. And I just put the little bulb pin and some old vintage pins inside. So that stays out on my desk all the time and sits on my other little box that I made when I was with the Needlework Press team at Sampler Symposium in January. So they're just some cute boxes out on my desk. Then I finished in June, Tomato Hill. I always loved this stitch when it was an exclusive, and as soon as it was released, I bought it. This is by Plum Street, and it's stitched on 40 count Fibre on a Whim Cafe au lait with all the called for, and the tiny little rick rack and a mini gingham. And this is filled with like split peas, dried lentils. It's just gorgeous, really stuffed. And then you stuff it right to the top, and then put a tiny bit of wool roving or your normal stuff in, just so that to help whip stitch it down without all this lentils falling out. Isn't that beautiful? Tomato Hill. The next one I finished was in June. This was Faded Flag on 36 count R&R Liberty Gathering Grey, using all the called for. So there's about 3 or 4 pinky reds there, and a faded blue, finished in a fabulous, I think this was a leftover from one of my Stacy Nash kits that we had when we were down in Cowslip with her. It's just a really muted kind of denim blue. But I've got lots of gorgeous Lori Holt denims as well, which are just great for finishing anything patriotic like that. So that was my June finish. The next one I had finished was another cracker, because I couldn't resist. And this is one of my favourite crackers. This is Goose, the giraffe, and I think he's a crumb, not a cracker. I think he's an animal crumb. He's stitched on 40 count Fibre on a Whim affogato, and he's just got such a sweet face. And then you stitch the hat separately, and he's just sat on an old Singer sewing machine, you know, oil can, because it's got a real pointy top. So Phil found me a couple of these off eBay, and I think Britta gave me one as well. And then this hat's done separately, and I just got these pom-poms off Amazon, and this is just a darling finish. Of all of the crackers, apart from Maggie May, this is my favourite. I just think he's got such a lovely face. So that was the next one, Goose the giraffe. Then the next one was from the, this was in July, because we went up to the Heartstring Samplery retreat at Peakside, and this was the drum that we finished. So, oh, there's my initials. So this has got the SP and the year, and Beth Twist designed this based on the Ellen Gregory, I want to say, was this big sampler that we had, and this was sort of pieces taken from that sampler and made into a drum that we all made together at the retreat. And I think she painted the lid for us, but we all learned how to use a glue gun and put our Lady Dot Creates finish on. This linen is 36 count, fibre on a whim, Cafe au lait. It's a beautiful mottled sort of pinky beige. And then inside, I've got two of the little pieces. So we did do a little scissor fob, again taken from one of the motifs off the sampler and lined with the fabric the same as the box. And then a little strawberry finish that Beth showed us how to make the kind of roughly ribbon top. And this is another motif taken, and this is all, we were given everything to finish these, and these are all Wheats Dye Works threads, and very much Beth Twist's colours, because she has quite a unique, I think, sort of colour palette. It's different, it's almost recognisable as her own. So that's a box that I keep all my Mini McBeans things in. Next was a patriotic, so this was finished on the 7th of July. This was a With Thy Needle and Thread, a little kit that I got from the attic a long time ago by With Thy Needle and Thread Brenda Gervais. Happy Birthday America, stitched on 36 count. Picture this plus Wren that came, did it come with a kit? It might have been Vintage Country Mocha with the kit, and I changed it out. But either way, I think it looks lovely on Wren. I love Wren because it's slightly grey, and such a cute finish. Again, I followed the instructions to the letter that Brenda said. You were given this gorgeous printed linen, and that you were given the little box top. So it comes on a box, and you kind of take it apart. You put some craft paper on the bottom and turn the lid into a stand. And this is just a little like wooden candle thing that you can pick up in B&Q for a couple of pence, and you just literally get your glue gun and make a little like birthday cake. Oh, it's just so creative and cute. So that is one of my favourite finishes from last year, and I've been sitting on that kit honestly for years, and it took a day to make and another day maybe to make up. Love that. So that'll be coming out for the 250th anniversary this summer. Then the next finish I had was a massive whip. I was trying to do a page a month, and for a couple of months in 2021 I did manage to do that, but then as usual, you know, you get distracted. This is by Bygone Stitches, my Christmas Quaker 2 Songs of the Season that I just had framed before Christmas in this stunning frame from a local shop in Cardiff. I had 5 frames, all the same, but I'd asked her to lace this, and I didn't do a tester. I just left all 5 with her. So 2 of them I'd laced myself, and they're not too bad, but this is not straight, but it's okay. It's been up all Christmas, and I've lived with it, and actually I'm learning to love it. So I think it was just, even though I stitch in hand, so the stitching was straight, I think it was just such a big piece that it was difficult for her to finish. But this is on 40 count clotted cream by Foxglove and Lace. That's Hazel Anderson. I know Hazel watches my Flosstuber, but I don't think she dyes linen anymore, but her linen is stunning. And this was the palest cream, a gorgeous one using all the called for Gentle Arts Blue Spruce and Currant. Just looked amazing on the pale cream, and I love this. So this was out for Christmas in pride of place in the hall, just propped up in amongst all the decorations, and so many people said, wow, what's that tapestry in the hall? It cracks me up. So yeah, that was on 40 count, and it was a labour of love. It's probably the biggest finish I've had. Somebody said, who was stitching on this? Oh, somebody was stitching this and said, it's 33,000 stitches. Somebody that counts their stitches, obviously. Not Teresa, little stitcher, but somebody. Anyway, if I remember, I will try to remember. I can't remember. So that was quite good Christmas too, on clotted cream. Next was the Leaping Rabbit sewing pouch by Stacy Nash. Okay, hang on now, let me get the details for this. So the Leaping Rabbit pouch was an exclusive at the Stacy Nash retreat down in Cornwall. 2 different linens on each side. The dark brown linen is called, I want to say, Salem, and this lighter one is called Fossil. That's right, because there was a little cushion to go with it, and the cushion is on this same one called Fossil. It's a beautiful colour. This is 36 count by Blackberry Primitives, Tonya, and she came to the retreats with Stacy, and it has a lot of wools. So I put a little woolly patch on some of the linen, just hand sewed it on the back. And this, you can just about see the chocolate rabbit there, leaping over the lawn, and that gorgeous pink that just pops. It's not sanguine, it's called something pink. I'd never used it before, but this is lovely. And we were given all the materials to finish it and to line it and make the little handle. And I've got some dried flowers from the garden, and I just love this. And it sort of sits over the mirror in the dining room by my stitchy spot, but I brought it in for now. And on the same pattern was another finish that I am calling a finish in its own right, because this took forever. This has got backed with Tonya's gorgeous pink wool and some little pins on a bulb. And so this is on 36 count Fossil, and it's called the Cottage Pin Keep. And there were lots of specialty stitches, so you can see the Algerian eyelets for the door in dolphin, and the little Algerian eyelets for all of the pink flowers, and that basket weave stitch to do all of the thatch roof. It's just so clever because it does look like thatch, and the little rabbits, their eyes are Algerians, and the pink in the middle of the stars, and then the gorgeous dolphin trim. So because it was sort of edged in this gorgeous border, I didn't think it needed any more trim, so I've left it plain. And this sits out, actually I found this morning in Topsy's bedroom, so it's in a basket in her room. And this just reminds me of Cornwall, and actually it reminds me very much of my visit to Chawton, the Jane Austen house, because that little street where Jane Austen's house is has got the thatch roof with the she's got a fox on the top of her roof made out of the straw, and that's the sort of thatcher's signature to make the little animals on the top of the roof. So Stacy loved her time in Cornwall so much, it inspired her design for this pillow. So hopefully that'll be released at some point soon. So we're getting there. Next was the October Scary Mouse. Now I remember where I was because I was in Kentucky, driving through the gorgeous countryside and Owensboro, where all the beautiful bluegrass music was playing, and it was so much fun to go on that retreat with at Walton's Creek with Nikki Franklin. and all the other people there, Christy Jones Ray, Ben Ashby. It was so fun, and Jen. So I stitched this. Now this is on, I've had this chart for donkey's years. It's Scary Mouse by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, on 40 count. Picture this plus pewter, which is a pale silvery grey. And I did put, oh no, it did ask for beads in the chart, in between the little stars, to make it look like sort of like a smoky, magical fire, I think, for bonfire night maybe. And then I decided to finish it with the triple bead Katie Strachan technique, which I just think is fabulous. One of my favourite ways to finish a pillow. Really quick and easy, really cheap. I just picked glass beads from my stash, and then some lovely old fabric. I've no idea, I've had it for years. Knocking about, an odd fat quarter, which just finished that perfectly. So that's stitched in all the core for, I think, I can't remember the threads. So that was a lovely finish for autumn. The next one I finished was this cross stitch, which was an old one, called Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street. I couldn't get chamomile tea, so I did mine on 40 count, so I got summer khaki, which I thought had the same sort of greeny vibe. And I made a mistake on this, so it went into timeout, but this year I pulled it back out, corrected all the smoky stars coming out the chimney, and love that stitch. I think it's going to be fabulous framed. I'd like to get it framed the same as the others. And so that was Cinnamon Stars by Plum Street. Then the next one I finished was a blackbird design that I did a stitch along with Lizzie the Stitcher from New Zealand and Linda HMB Fob from the States. And the three of us stitched this, the blackbird, bells on Christmas Day, using all the classic blackbird colours. We didn't change a thing. And I used the called for, which was Picture This plus Oaken, I want to say. And I used 40 count, so it was tiny. And again, as soon as I get organised, I'm going to get this framed and it'll be out for Christmas next year to go along with Christmas Rose, which was out this year and is just beautiful. It's very similar. Peace on Earth, it says on there. And that beautiful checkerboard house. Such a pretty stitch. And I think we pretty much all finished that and did really well. Where can I put those? Over there. So that was Bells on Christmas Day by Blackbird Design. Next was Quaker Snippets #1 by With Thy Needle and Thread. And my magnets come off the board. And I haven't cut the little ribbon down. I need to do that. So this is stitched on the gorgeous Cedar River maple bar linen. And I've got the piece cut for the next one, which was the Christmas Quaker that I never actually got around to starting. I've just made that little bow and I need to cut the legs down to size. So that's using a mountain of all the call for threads and really cute finish. Finished on the Chantel 141 board with the stamp on the back for Brenda's design, and so that's a cute little finish. And I'll take them off the magnet, although they keep coming off the magnet, so I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I just laced that myself, and I'll be doing all four and then just using the same frame to swap them in and out on, hopefully. Then the next finish was actually a gift, but it's in my finished list. So this was gifted from Patsy Langford to me at the Waltons Creek, Kentucky retreat. And she stitched this Scarlet House Pumpkins and Bittersweet 1/1 stitching down here on the gorgeous 40 count Picture This plus Wren, using all the core 4 threads. And I've got a gorgeous pin here. I think this was a gift from Lindsay Linds to me. And I finished this. I can't remember what the, I think it's squash or something like that. I used the same trim as the one that I did the year before with Hands-On Design, and the same backing. And this was from the little charm pack that Patsy so kindly gifted me. And that came from Country Sampler. Beautiful little fat quarter, a bunch of fat quarters. And then the next finish was, this is my last fully finish for the year, which was the Stacy Nash animal cracker called Ginger. And I managed to buy the kit from a lovely lady, a very famous quilter from the States, who had sort of ordered this kit by accident because she doesn't stitch the crackers. This is stitched on Blackberry Primitives, 36 count old red. It's a gorgeous pinky red and just lovely. And I did her totally called for with the kit. There were just enough threads in the kit. I put a little bell on, a little bead on the bell. I did the wreath finish and put beads around, and that's 1/1 on the pocket. There's a little bit of long stitch on the skates, and she's absolutely darling. She's carrying a gingerbread house cake or biscuit or whatever, and I didn't cut her on the side. I cut her on the bottom, and it was a tight squeeze. I honestly, at one point I thought the whole thing was going to be a fail, but she turned out great. And actually I didn't put a board in the bottom, but I just whipped the bottom and stuffed it so that she does sort of stand up on the mantelpiece. And she's been out all Christmas, and I've had so many likes on Instagram for little Ginger. So she's so cute. So that was the last fully finish. The only other thing I finished, was this beautiful stitch that was so kindly gifted to me by the Historical Sampler Company, Suzanne and Joanne, the lovely sisters. Now, I switched out the linen that was in the kit for Swan Bay Fabrics, Marie and Gunter's Hartfield Moss, which is a beautiful, wonderful green for Christmas stitching that I had in my stash that I bought when they first opened the business. This is 40 count Hartfield Moss, and this is the Christmas 2025 stitch along that was released in 4 parts, and I managed to I don't know if I kept up, but I did finish it over Christmas and finished off the Ginger House. And I just love this. I think it would be really pretty framed in a cream or whitey frame. So the linen sort of pops. It's a bit of a brighter green than it's showing on the camera here. But I finished that on the 19th of December. And then the last one I finished is this cute Frosty Bulb by Teresa Kogut. This is on 40 count Fox and Rabbit Saltbush. And I've got the little board, I don't know what, it's over there, from Chantel's 141, so that I can make this up. I just need to sit down, have 5 minutes and do a bit of lacing on the back, maybe next week. Lace it and finish it like Teresa did on that board, which I managed to get from 123 Stitch, because they stock quite a few of Chantel 141, which is great news for us in the UK, because we can get hold of the things to finish like Teresa does so well. It's called a tag, a wooden tag. This is the cutest little thing ever. So I really enjoyed stitching that. So that was another little finish I managed to squeeze in. So that's all my, 22 finishes for the year. And then what I thought I'd do is just show you the 25 whips that I start. Oh, and that was another little finish I had from my Acufactum Fabric Club. This was some of the January material, and I finished a beautiful project sewing roll. So I keep all my finishes. I lined it with the paler seashell one, and this has got the geese and just beautiful fabric. So that's where I'll be rolling up my finishes before I take them to the framer. Oh, and one other thing actually, which I didn't count as a finish, sorry, this was this knitted finish, which I've shown you before. The little scarf, I can't even remember now. What was it called? It was called the knitted tiny tassel shawl, and I bought it from Loop in London as a kit. So the little ginger contrast to make the pom-poms, which took forever, were actually in the kit, and this gorgeous blue with a rusty kind of mottle running through it. Isn't it lovely? So it's perfect for this frosty weather, but actually I'm too hot doing this, so that can go down there. And there's my thing. Right, that's all my finishing. The only other thing, which I didn't list as a finish, because I've got this counted as an ongoing WIP, was this finish, which I did 3 more this year. I don't know if this is going to work. This has been above the fireplace. I showed it on my little home tour. These are the rather fab little stockings that Annie Bees released. Maybe 2024, because I did 3 in the first year. I did the partridge in a pear tree. This is on 36 count, Magical Grey by Zweigart. I did the turtle doves and the 3 French hens. I did Baker's Twine round the edge, the snowy Lady Dot Creates, and this gorgeous Amiably True mini holly that I picked up at the stitchery, and they used to have it online. So that was from the original year, and then this year I finished 4, 5 and 6. And the geese are laying, and they've got beads. I don't know if you can see the 5 gold rings. They've all got the cream and the little red beads, and the 4 calling birds. Oh, they're so cute. Look at them with their beaks open. So these are just so darling, and they were hanging over the fire, and honestly everybody loved these. So I'm feeling very enthused to do another 3 this year, because I never got back to Prairie School of Santas and did my more of those, and I didn't get back to my heartstring samplery, the ones with the glitter rounds. I've still only got 2 of those finished, but I really would like to keep going and get the whole series done. I just think these are just gorgeous. So I need to do another 3, hopefully in Christmas in July this year. And I can pack these away now for next Christmas, because I took all the decorations down yesterday and had a bit of a dust, so I didn't get any stitching done. But these are darling, and relatively, actually they're not relatively quick to stitch. They're very stop-starty, and there's a lot of colour changes, and I'd say they're quite a tricky thing to stitch. Actually, they seem to take me forever. So now I'm going to show you the WIPs that I started last year. So there's 25 of these. How are we doing? Oh my gosh, 47 minutes. Right, first one I started on the 1st of January. That's right, my New Year's Day start. I didn't even manage a New Year. I don't think I even got one up this year, because there was someone here all the time. This is in my Barry bag. This is the one with the horrid chart. But I put everything into GoodNotes on my phone. And if anyone needs help or advice on GoodNotes, just ask me, because it's just a game changer for an awful chart like this, which is in black and white. Anyway, I won't ramble on. This is just using the DMC, and I can't wait to get back to it. I haven't touched it since I showed you last. This is where I've got to. This is on Weeks Cocoa, 40 count, that was kindly gifted to me by Roberta, the sable stitcher, when she came over to visit me. And we went to Bolton-on-the-Water for afternoon tea, and were very civilised and stitched together in the lovely lounge there. So Happy New Year to Roberta and to Linny. And so there's my progress on that. Can't wait to get back to her, hopefully next week, and before I come back for my next floss tube, which should be within a week or 2. So that's that one. The next one I started was because I'd been to Sampler Symposium, and on the 29th of January, I started this beautiful thing that we were gifted by Jeanette Douglas called Specialty Stitches a la 1838 by LH. And this is to be finished as a long spool thing to go around the wooden spool that she gave us. This is really fun. Why I haven't continued with it, I don't know. I think it's just, I'm not sure. There's so many projects, aren't there? This is with the gorgeous MPI silks. It's the only project I've got actually with MPIs. And I didn't even need to iron this because I only got as far as those first 4 blocks, but you can see how the silk shines and you can see what fun these are. I think I did mine, 2 of these are back to front or in the wrong place, but that's okay. I've got the hang of it now. And yeah. I need to get back to that. I'm going to be saying that about quite a lot of the stitches here. But you know, I finished, so of the 47 starts, I did finish 22, so I've only got 25 left. So that's actually not that bad. And some of these are big. The next one I started in another gorgeous Barry bag with the beautiful 103 silk in my Mary Chokes hats little pouch that I had in my Words of Wisdom box, using number 305. This beautiful dusky pinky red goes with this bag perfectly. This is my 15 friends. Now, every time I see you, I say, oh, honestly, this is on 46 count needle and flax Thornfield, a stunning linen using a stunning silk. I just want to get back to it. I love this piece. I can see it framed in my home. But every time I try to do 1 thread a day, I don't know, I just don't get the time. Like yesterday, you know, I didn't do any stitching because I had a funeral to go to in the morning with my dad. And one of his best friends passed away just before Christmas, and Dad had to do the reading, and it was Psalm 23. Oh man, I cried so hard. But you know, there's always things happening, isn't there, in life? And tomorrow Harriet's home and we're going to the Ivy for lunch. So today I'm filming. So, you know, I don't know why I can't manage 1 thread a day. And that's fine, you know. But I'd love to keep this out because I do absolutely love her. Next, I started, did I say that was called The 15 Friends by Cozy Egg? Jane Ann, 1897, and I've managed to stitch 2 of the numbers of the 15 friends that either had a peg or a bed number in the orphanages. So that's my red sampler, that is my favourite. The next one I started that I haven't finished on the 31st of January was the Samplers Remembered sampler roll on 40 count Weeks Confederate Grey. Absolutely gorgeous stitch. Love the colour of the Weeks threads on that. Let me just quickly show you. This is in a project bag I made myself. This is what the chart looks like. And these are the threads with these stunning colours that are in quite a few of my favourite charts. Cognac, Cinnabar. Oh, obviously I've stolen the cognac for another one, but really beautiful. Is it brandy, the other one? I fancy they're all kind of alcoholic names. And then another gorgeous one in here I'd like to start on the same linen is this one. But I need to finish, before I'm allowed to start this, I need to finish Lottie, because that's how my mind works. I have to finish one big one before I can start another big girl. So that's that. Next, I started Be Happy, Humble and Kind by Brenda Gervais. Couldn't find the bag with the chart, which means it'll be coming up in a minute because I got so many lined up. This is how far I got with this. And I'm stitching this one on Swan Bay fabric, 40 count Pemberley, which is a beautiful sort of apricot-y colour. And there's the White House in the vase with that berry basket sitting in the top. Very Brenda, very quirky. Love this stitch. Don't know why I stopped. I took this to Galley Bay and stitched it on the beach. It was very tight to get the week's threads. Oh, maybe it's Gentle Arts, I can't remember. They look grey, but then they come out blue once you've got the lime green leaves around the edge. So again, I wouldn't change the colours on this because Brenda knows what she's doing, but the blues look grey in the hand, but then they come out blue when you put them on the linen. I don't know how it works, but it's some sort of magic. The next one I haven't ironed. This is a Stacy Nash in my gorgeous Christie crosshatch quilts bag that I managed to get from her last year. Just really well made. This is, I think it was a market release that was an exclusive that I've been waiting. This is Stacy Nash, Rose Hill Farm Sampler and Pinky. I'd like to do all the bits. I'd love to do this little pinky, like triangle little thing. It's this. So it's like one of these. Which I picked up. Oh, what is that place that I went to with the museum outside Kentucky? It was near Kentucky. It's not coming back to me. And I went to the museum and the quilt shop. Oh, man. Anyway, I bought this at the till there. And this is the similar sort of shape. I don't know what you call that kind of triangle thing. Anyway, I want to make that. And the reason I think I stalled out on this, because I've hardly started it. Well, first I went to a retreat for the day and I forgot my needles, and no one had a 28 needle to squeeze weeks through 40 count. So that was a complete fail. But then secondly, I saw the Half Pone Creek stitchers, Sarah and Christy. They stitched theirs in white and I loved it so much it made me kind of hate mine for a bit. I don't know. I love it. I do love it. And this is stitched on 40 count Fox and Rabbit Duxbury. So I need to make a decision on... No, I don't. I'm just going to leave it in the bag for now and see how I get on. I couldn't get the called for, was it Broomgrass? But Duxbury, mine is so grungy. It's sort of a dead ringer for the Broomgrass. So that was a little tiny start I got on Rose Hill Farm. And maybe I'll get back to that and have another go. Then the next one I had was in this beautiful bag. Did I say all these gorgeous bags like this are by Barry Hamby at Stitch Folk? And I'm not sure whether Barry's going to have a bag club again, but I'm going to be seeing her a few times this year because she's coming over to a couple of the stitchery retreats that we're going to. And the first one's going to be in the Lake District for the Beatrix Potter retreat. And Barry managed to get a place on that, I think. So it's going to be great. This was an exclusive I got from Country Sampler. Why am I not stitching this? I don't know. I love it. It's on Hemingway by Needle and Flax. And this is by Cross Stitch Antiques, the gorgeous, lovely lady, Kathleen Littleton, who signed mine. I just love this, everything about it. I'm using the over-dyed threads, and this is my progress. So I've made a good start. The colours are just spectacular. Bright pinks, dark acorn browns, creams, gorgeous bright avocado green, but because it's lining alongside a darker green, it just knocks it right back and it looks amazing. I love this. 40 count Needle and Flax Hemingway, all came in the kit from Country Sampler. Sorry the light's shining through the back there. I have got a board. I can't wait to go in and do some of the motifs. And Britta, I was stitching this I think Britta got this as well. She started after me, and of course she's finished. I think she's even got it framed. So I'd love to spend more time. Julia Rachel de la Mer, 1849, a Guernsey sampler by Cross Stitch Antiques. Stunning. Now widely available. Next, the Garden Needle Case Kit by Shepherd's Bush. Oh, in this gorgeous bag. This is really bad. I can't remember. I think Barry Stitchfolk gifted me this bag. I want to say it was Rika, because Rika uses this fabric as well. But I think Barry gifted me this. Now, this was a kit that came with all the finishing materials from Shepherd's Bush. I think I managed to get this at market. There's the chart for the one I showed you earlier. I'm sharing a project bag here, which is always difficult for a floss tube. Be Happy, Humble and Kind by Brenda. So I showed you this in the middle. And Jean tracked this down for me, Jean Lee at the Attic. And when I went there, I bought it from Jean. So yeah, Be Happy, Humble and Kind. What a gorgeous stitch. And the called for was Espresso by R&R, which was very green and nothing like this sort of creamy yellow, the one that I had. So I switched it out for Swan Bay Fabric Pemberley. So here's the Shepherd's Bush. This is something I picked up at market. I love these needle books. I love Shepherd's Bush. So I started it, and that's as far as I got. This is on the, I think it's just a 32 count. It doesn't say. But I think it's just whatever was in the kit. I'm pretty sure it's 32 count. There's a bit of back stitching and, you know, the letters grow and plant. And what else is on here? Sew a garden stitch by stitch, it's going to say along the bottom. And it's just the cutest little thing. So it's going to be a really pretty little needle book. And I need to get back to it because it wouldn't take ages to finish. So that's all in the same project bag. The other thing that's in this project bag, I might as well show you now, is my herbarium label little kit of weeks threads. So Sarah picked the threads for the whole series at the beginning of the year. You could buy it as a kit from her. That's from Sampler Symposium. And there's my very small start on the label. I started this yesterday. That's all I managed to stitch yesterday. All these labels are stitched on 46 count needle and flax. Not Hemingway, Thornfield. The cream with the sort of pinky brown mottles, whereas Hemingway is brown with a sort of pinky red mottle. So that was that. Next I started, one of my favourite stitches of the year, not that far off a finish, in a little bag I picked up here by Sophie at Turtle Bay Fabrics, and a lovely little project bag. Pour Me a Glass of Sass. This houses my favourite stitch, A Daily Reminder by With Thy Needle and Thread, using all the called for. And this is what I would have poached, because it's the same as that Samplers Remembered needle roll. Those beautiful, right, let me tell you what they're called. Carolina, Cecile and Cognac. Not brandy, cognac. And Woodrose at the back. Oh, look at them. With the beiges and the sort of pepperminty greens. Just very similar colours to the sampler roll. And this is on the stunning, now how do I say this? This is called Arboreal. This is the linen by Jodie, Trixie Tricycle, Cedar River Linens. It is stunning. A bunch of molten metals. And look how the colours pop. Look how the trees pop on that linen. and smearing across alphabets around the edge. And so I don't have that much more, do I, to go? Oh, there is a sawtooth border all around the edge. So yeah, there's a bit more. And the alphabet I need to take all the way down one side. I just love this. I think the linen is stunning. And it takes a day, an hour, you know, to get your eye into it. Get your eye in, and then once you go in, you're off. But the first couple of stitches, sometimes I make a mistake. I've noticed that on very dark linen. Where's my list? The next one in my gorgeous House of Stitch and Stash project bag. Wow. Made by Rika with her gorgeous, look at her writing. She's got her signature little bow on the thing and Rika's writing. I mean, what can't that girl do? Mary Ann Farmer, 1834. And I found this on the Scarlet House roller thing at the attic. Just stunning. And we've got the attic silk conversion in 103s. Just amazing. Love this chart. Would love to get back to it. Using the, I told you, didn't I, the silks. We got the conversion. I'm pretty sure Rika gifted me the silks. And I don't have them to show because I didn't pull all my silks. You know, I use these. I use these little boxes that you get off Amazon. I got mine from the Quilted Bear the last time, because sometimes they sell out on Amazon, but you can get them at the Quilted Bear. And sometimes she has little sales, like a New Year's Day sale. So I'm using the silks like this. They're called Verissoir 103s. And this is my progress. Now this I'm stitching on Cedar River linen, 40 count overcast. A beautiful colour. I'm using it a few times, this linen, a few different projects. There are three greens, at least 3 greens, if not 4, in that top border. And I've done that big old basket in the middle. Really enjoyed it. The silks on this linen are just stunning. She's not massive either, but it's quite a lot of stitching. So this is Mary Ann Farmer by the Scarlet House. And, you know, I would love to bring her into my monthly rotation, but they can't all come in because it just can't work. Next is With Thy Needle and Thread, Spring Swan, 40 count, vintage country mocha, using all the gorgeous pastel-y, beautiful lemons and lettuce leaf. Gorgeous colours, gorgeous. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be feeling ready to get back to that, because I never did. I've done autumn, I've done summer. I've made a good start on Spring Swan, but I didn't get a chance to do Winter Swan. I would have loved to have done that Christmas one. I think it's stunning. But, you know, you've got to pick your battles, stitches. Anyway, she's beautiful. I did make a good start. Obviously, I've ironed that and haven't touched it since. But, you know, it's been Christmas, so you're not going to stitch on that swan right now, but it will come back out soon. Next, Damask Rose Scissor Keep. I picked this up at the Malvern Quilt Show because this lady, who is it? Sue Hawkins. Her display of finished pieces was so stunning that even though I knew I wouldn't love using the canvas, and I'm naughty that I don't use a hoop, I think I might have to use a hoop. I made a start on this, and it came with all the threads. I don't even know, Oh, it's Madeira cotton threads, which I kind of put on my wooden board from the stitchery that I had in my advent calendar last year. Gorgeous colours, all the pinks and rosy greens that everybody loves. And that is my progress. It's quite hard to stitch through this canvas, but I think the finished project is going to be so beautiful. And look how many of these, oh my gosh. I've obviously got quite a few of her things. Look at the fruit and veg, the cauliflowers in the garden. I mean, I just want one of those on my desk. Eat All Your Greens scissor stand by Sue Hawkins. There's a couple of other things here. The Little Things pencil case. This is a kit. I would use that. I love it. I don't know why I'm not stitching it. The Damask Rose pin cushion. Love that. Oh, I've seen this finished recently when I went to Chawton with Becky, Willow Hair Stitching. In the Meadows, Notions Purse by Willow and Hair Stitching. Becky's got a floss tube. You need to go and watch her. And she's starting out designing cross-stitch charts. But her wool applique projects, you know she teaches with Sally, Humble Bumble Stitcher, at the Whitchurch Silk Mill retreats. And she teaches with Stacy Nash and Tonya, Blackberry Primitives. Her work is beautiful and I haven't started it. That's the chart I bought when I went to Portbury and met her the first time. And since then, I've got the kit to make it with her beautiful hair, and I saw it finished and it is so pretty. This is another chart I bought from, actually I've got a few things from her. This one waiting to be done, The Journey from Coast to Country. Like another little bag like Stacy Nash makes, that design. They must have a name actually. And then this is really cute because I've seen this in person. 4 Seasons in a Day pin cushion. Each of the seasons going round on a little leaping hare on the top. It's beautiful. And this was on display at the Portbury Church thing. So these are in my Tonya, one of my Tonya project bags. And but I've got so many stitch alongs, and I promised Becky I would start that leaping hare. At least the pencil case I know I would use, so I really need to get back to it. But first, I need to finish this. It's cute. It's useful. Oh my gosh, this bag hardly shuts. This is called my Sue Hawkins and Willow and Hare stitching bag. Full. Next, The Sweet Birds Sing. Another beautiful Stitch Folk project bag. Oh, Mildred, of course you're charming. Beautiful fabrics. All the blues on this one and the blackbird lining. Wow. Right, I've got a load. Oh, man. This is the only WIP go that I failed this year. I didn't get to Humming of the Bees. I don't think I've ever shared that with you. And it's in here, but I haven't ironed it, so you can't see it. The other one that I never got to, well, I did, I started it, was this one from Market, The Sweet Birds Sing, 3 projects based on the Welsh sampler. That's right, that's why I had to buy it, because it's Welsh. And I wanted to go and track down this sampler, which is up in the museum in Merthyr Tydfil somewhere. So one day in the spring, I'll drive up there and see if I can find it and take a picture. And it's got the Dear Friend pillow. What a gorgeous retreat piece that would be. Anyway, it's hardly any point showing you because I started this on 36 count. Picture this plus Heartfield. Heartfield. Heartland, and I had this pitiful little start. In fact, of course, I think that's the bottom. So I don't even know if it's the top or bottom, but it's beautiful linen, and I'd love to use paints or crayons, you know, like I do on my embroidery, like Finished by Michelle Ray did, because she finished that in the most gorgeous way that I'd like to unashamedly copy. Next was the Stacy Nash Old White Farmhouse Sampler that I can't find. Next was the Leela's Studio in a project bag I made myself. Beautiful Kathy Holden Christmas Fair fabric. This was the Christmas Quaker, Peace on Earth, a winter Quaker, I'm sorry, that I had a very small start. I started this, what was the called for? The call for was Patriot's Brew, couldn't get it, haven't got it. So I thought, well, I'm not waiting. I'm going to use the gorgeous Cedar River 40 count overcast. I think it looks exactly like the picture, and that's my very pitiful little start. Lovely, all DMCs. And I've made great progress on the Summer Quaker. So when that's done, you know, I'll just start putting more stitches in onto this one. But they're really fun. I do enjoy them. And I like seeing Samantha, the Hygge Stitcher. She does them on the 21st of the month, whichever season she's in. She pulls out the kind of current season. And I think that's just such a lovely thing to do on the 21st. So I'd like to copy her. What's next? Oh, next was a stunning start because I bought this kit and I made the project bag myself from the little panel that we got when we were at the attic, because I bought the silks for this. So I'm using the 103 silks like this, and I'm using the muted colorway. This is Jessie Challoner by Hands Across the Sea, and I'm doing the muted colors. Although every time I see the panel on the front with the bright colours, I'm kind of disappointed that I wasn't brave and I didn't go for the bright palette. And I've got a sort of pitiful start. This is my progress. This is stitched on Haberdashery Medium Light by Mason Linens, 40 count. And it's sort of a little bit similar to Tabby Cat Lichen, maybe a bit less green. So I've done all the green for the big basket in the middle, but is that even the right way up? Yes, it is. So now I can start to do the flowers, some of the big lollipop flowers coming off, and I can't wait to get back to that. I'm going to say that about them all. But these are big girls, you know, they're going to take years, and you can't do them all, so you can't pull them out. So I tend to do Eunice, I tend to do Jane Bannister and Lottie. They're 3 different designers. Every month I want to do something on those, and my Whip Go and my smalls. So you can't have them all out. One of them needs to get finished before Jessie can come back out. The next start in September was by Stacy Nash Primitives. Right, this is the bag that I'm sharing. So another start was my Stacy Nash Old White Farmhouse Sampler. I've had this for years, and I thought, right, that's it. I saw down at Cowslip my lovely friend Crow's Nest Stitch It 77, Alice, had started this. She showed us, and so I made a start on the vase in the middle, and I'm stitching this on 40 count. Picture this plus pewter. It's a tight weave, but it's gorgeous. It's the same as I did my Boo Mouse, I think. So that's one start in this bag. And the other Stacy Nash was a kit that we bought. And there's the lovely little needle book that Alice made me and gifted to us all when we were down at Cowslip. I'm not going to Cowslip this year, I'm going to miss it. So this was a kit we bought. It's the Spring Parade sewing box. Here's the chart. And it's going to look like that. So it's got a sheep, a duck and a rabbit holding a flag, walking all the way around the little box that was given to us. And this is my progress. And this is stitched on 36 count Blackberry Primitives Portsbury Beige. I made a little start there. Cute though, isn't it? So that'll be a lovely little thing. Wouldn't take a load of evenings, would it, to sit and finish that? And yeah, the chart doesn't fit in the bag, which is a bit bad, but that's the sort of Stacy, anything in a Tonya bag, I tend to put my Stacy projects, so there should be some logic. And I shouldn't lose things so easily. Now this I started just to try. Girls Collection Dimensions kit, because again, Samantha the Hygge Stitcher and Jennifer the Calculated Stitcher, I always think, oh man, I love what they've done with that. This is a bag I made myself. No idea where the fabric came from, but it's some lovely old Christmas fabric. This is on the horrible linen that comes in the kit. Is it 16 count blue Ada? And I just had a little practice, you know, to see if I can do it. And I can. I don't really like the feel of this. So that's what it looks like. I mean, it's a bit of a shock to the system using this when you've used that. But I do think the finished product, a bit like that Sue Hawkins little thing, the finished product is so useful and sort of stunning. I feel I need to just get over myself and maybe, I don't know, one day a month. I haven't got a day a month to give it, but even a day over the Christmas break, one day, if I haven't got a house full, all I feel I've done this Christmas is wash up. I'm not lying, my hands are like sandpaper. I've done an awful lot of cooking and washing up and very little stitching. Next, I started, I think, my favourite thing of the whole year, in this gorgeous Barry bag with the Strawberry Thieves on the back. Look at it. Beautiful. This is my Scarlet House 7 sheep sampler. And this is supposed to be done on the double-dyed Autumn Gold by Lakeside Linen, which we just can't get. And rather than wait 1,000 years, this is all done on the over-dyed called for. I think it's a mixture of Gentle Arts and Classic Colourworks. And so rather than wait, I just gave up and started it. This is on an unnamed gorgeous linen by Tabby Cat, 40 count. And the Raspberry Parfait, and I think it's Whiskey, does pop the colour in the middle there. And I've got a good start on that, but I haven't touched it since my last, when I shared it with you on my last floss tube. It's going to go for a finish this year. I love the projects. And it made me just want to get this back out, have a go. So I'd love to bring this one into my monthly rotation as well. But what was I replace? What was I replace to give her a slot? I'm not sure. So that's the 7 sheet by the Scarlet House. Next, I haven't ironed this, I do apologise. This is in my cute bag gifted to me by Lindsay Linds and Teresa Kogut fabric. And this is started for Tara's was it her half birthday or a birthday? And she gave me the cute thread bed as well. This is Stacy Nash, Merry Autumn Pinky. I've got Deck the Coop. I've got all of them sitting in stash, so why not join in? This, can't remember what the call for linen was. Needle Bling Broom Grass. Don't think I had it at the time. So I started this on a foxglove and lace called Driftwood by the lovely Hazel Anderson, who I don't think makes linens anymore, but it's great to use one I put out of my stash, and I think it matches the picture absolutely perfectly. So I've made a good start on this in Ganny Bay. This was a huge amount of stitching, this border. It took me days and days, and the house maybe an evening or two. So there's a lot of stitching in this stitch, and I love it. So it's another Stacy. I've got quite a few Stacy WIPs on the go, and they're not large, are they? They're sort of, maybe I could finish it in the season next year, this year. Next, oh boy, right. We started this at Mrs. Parkman's Academy. That's where Steph, Late Girl Stitches, that's where I met her. And she gave me that lovely badge to sew on my denim jacket. When we were there, we decided with Rebecca Brigham to start a stitch along, and we've now got a Facebook group that works. So if you Google on Facebook, if you search GH 1857 SAL, this is by Soed Ide in our beautiful patchwork bag. This is by Sojo B. You'd have to Google her because she's only on email. I don't know if she makes project bags anymore. I've got the thread to keep. I'm using all the weeks. This is what the threads look like. Absolutely gorgeous colours. Why would you want to even look at the silks when the weeks are so bright like that? And actually, I did see the silk conversion, and do you know what? It was dull. It was dull in comparison, so it's going to be fascinating to see if the silks do come out better. So this is the chart, and the homework's broken down. Have I got a print off? I should have. I've got the homework. So the first 2 months, November and December, I did 23 and 24 because I'm a bottom right starter. So now I need to move on and do January's, which will be this tree here, 22, because I'm going to work backwards. I don't know why I do that. I just like starting bottom right. So this is the stunning start. Now this, I chose not to use wheat because mine was very, very green by Fibre on a Whim. Although I do love it, and I noticed Roberta is using the wheat, and it looks amazing what she started. So it's going to be lovely to see what everyone's doing. I used 40 count Swan Bay Dark Sanditon, and I'm sorry I was calling it Sandition. I think it is Sanditon with no I, and this is the start I've made. So I've done all the border for the corner and this stunning vase. I've never done a vase quite that elaborate. And these flowers, look at it. Just beautiful. And the colours, oh, I enjoyed stitching this so much. So I'm excited now. I've caught up now, November and December. I'm up to date with all the girls. So please join along, join in, find the group on Facebook, because the new group that Rebecca started, you can make comments and post your pictures up. And there are so many of us joining in with this stitch along. And yeah, it's a beautiful stitch. So that's a real commitment I've got for this year. I'm going to try and keep up. Because it's 24 parts, the plan is that we'll have it done when we come back to Nicola Parkman's Academy in, was it September or October 2027? So we've got 2 years to get this done. And that's why we've also got 2 years to get the Raven quilt done, because the same sort of group of girls are going to be meeting up when we get there. So that was the GH 1857 sampler, which I love. Next, I've got a little small start on this. This was a Christmas stitch in my beautiful patchwork paw print Tilda Christmas bag, made by the lovely Val. There's her button, patchwork and paw print. She does amazing bags. She does a lot of the hats, panels now made into stunning bags, all different sizes, all the thread beds. So what have I got here? A bit of a mess, to be honest. My little, what do you call it, thing from Sally Humble Bumble Stitcher that she hand cross-stitched for us. And this is a chart that as soon as it came out, I had to have. Bells Are Ringing by With Thy Needle and Thread. So this is a new release for Christmas. I could not get Olcott by Needle and Flax. So instead, what did I choose? I chose Weeks Alabaster 40 count on the Zweigart base. I just thought it matched the picture really nicely. And I'm using all the called for. And my snow's just about showing up, but I think my peachy house looks lovely. So I've got to put the roof on, and I'm really enjoying this. I don't know if that lamp is helping or not. Yeah, it's a bit dark without it, isn't it? Okay, the lamp stays on. So that's the Bells Are Ringing on 40 count, Weeks Alabaster, which I picked up from Peakside at some time relatively recently, actually, and it looked pale and quite useful for samplers. And I love that stitch. Another start I had, you'll remember this now from my last floss tube. This was something that's been sitting in my stash for years, but I decided to use the lovely Swan Bay Hartfield moss left over from my historical sampler company finish, because I thought it looked so great for Christmas stitching. And I did have the bright green, what did it called for something? It called for that, not swamp, Kermit. I've got Kermit, but I decided I preferred it on this. So this is With Thy Needle and Thread. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place, aren't I? I can't cope with this many whips to share. This is the chart. I've got the buttons. I love that teacup. Hot chocolate. And so I stitched mine on the green. And I made a really good start, so now I can move into the turquoise cup. So no progress since I saw you last, but it's a start. And if I start something, I'm far more likely to finish it. And I had wanted to start this beautiful one by Sally Humble Bumble. I said I would try my best, the special delivery. It's so pretty, look at it. Made into like a roll. I'd love to do that. I will do that. And this was the other one I wanted to start. The Quaker Christmas, to go on the same board. So I'll do that. I've got it all cut. Oh, and this was another one I wanted to start. Had it all cut, ready. The Glorianas, the hog bristle. This was in the Kitten Stitcher Advent, and it's released now. Home for Christmas by Samplers Not Forgotten. Yeah, so next year, I had lots of Christmas decorations up, so I don't feel too bad. And then my last start of the year, which I'm doing a little stitch along with Nikki Franklin from the Stitchery and her friend Caroline, Glorious Day Flowers on Instagram. and her mum, Nikki's mum, Glynis, and her sister, Sarah, from the Stitchery Sisters, we're all stitching this together. And I think Sharon, Chris Silver, from the Sits, because Sharon was the one that had to purchase the paper chart and send it to us. So we started Pink Coat Santa by Teresa Kogut, using all the colourful. And the linen I'm using for him is 40 count Cedar River Alpen Glow. Which works perfectly. So I've done a fair amount. That's a lot of stitching in there, but I've still got a long way to go. And I've just noticed I made a mistake. I didn't do my little green marshmallow. This is a scrap from the Tabby Cat. Michelle from Tabby Cat Linens had a little scrap pack that you could buy small pieces, like maybe an eighth. And this was the mint green in that pack that I bought back in 2023, not Harfield Moss from Swan Bay. It's similar, but slightly, I'd say this is paler and less mottled. But it's very pretty and perfect for Mr. Marshmallow. So sorry about that. I just made an assumption there and I was wrong. So that's my cross stitch. That's all the finishes. And then I just thought I would share with you how we're doing. Well, oh dear. I'll just share with you my stitchery labels. I've done them all except the last one, which we haven't received yet. It should be coming any minute now, because I normally, on my birthday, on the 10th, I normally do stitch my December stitchery embroidery piece. So every month they come like this in the herbarium packaging that Nikki has designed. And you know what the booklets look like, don't you? They look like this, and they come with all the instructions and the threads kitted up, and just all beautifully done. Very Nikki, very tasteful. So that's what they arrive like. You got these little labels, which for the last 3 months I haven't cut down and put my apothecary pins in yet because I haven't cut them down. But this is how they go in order. So first of all, I do the Stitchery Sisters label because that's released first. So this is cross stitch. All of them are done on 46 count needle and flax Thornfield. So I cut the 12 pieces at the beginning of the year, and thank heavens they all fitted. So this first one was the Milk Flower Galanthus nivalis, which is Little Sisters of the Snow, all the different names for the snowdrop. So that's the label. And then the cross stitch. And I cut these down. I think this is a 5.5 inch. So I did the first few this small. Then I had to panic that maybe they weren't all going to fit. So I need to see whether they can all be cut down this small. And that's the snowdrop padded satin stitch. And I grunged the linen up here with walnut shells in a little bottle spray to make it look so the white would pop for the first month of the year. Then the second one was a rose. William Shakespeare, what is in a name? That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So that was the label for February. These take me quite a few days, like 3 days, the labels. And there's the embroidery. So this is long and short stitch with pistol stitches for the little stems, padded satin stitch with a couple of different colours for the buds. And those very clever stitches you do at the end over the top of the leaf to make it look like a spike, a thorn. And pink thorns in the stem. Oh, it's coming back to me now. Gosh, that's from February. Then March was thyme, a sprig of thyme in your pocket, and you will see fairies in the woods. And this year the theme is time for tea, and Sarah will be doing some little tea bag labels. No, I don't know if they're tea bags. Tea labels. Or a little label for the tea ones that Nikki's doing. You don't get to see, so I don't know. I don't really know what I'm talking about. So there's the time. And again, I grunged the linen because of that pale green. I just wanted it to sort of pop. These are lots of lazy daisies. And padded satin stitch pairs of leaves. And a lovely old rustic bow on the bottom. So that's time. Then the next one was hydrangea, Witch's Apothecary, Potions and Spells. Use hydrangea to lift a curse. I should have brought the, I haven't got time now, but when I finish them into a book, I'll read you what it actually says about each of the herbs and flowers. That took ages to stitch that. Those trees. And this is what the hydrangea, oh, these are piles and piles of lazy daisies. I've never done a hydrangea this way before. Normally with Nikki, we do French knots. So it was fun to do it in a different way. They look really lacy. And of course, padded satin stitch leaves, which look amazing, but take a long time. But I love doing them. Just love them. Okay. Then the next one, this is a little poem by Tennyson. This is the Larkspur, I think. The red rose cries, she is near, and the white rose weeps, she is late. The larkspur listens, I hear, and the lily whispers, I wait. The words go quickly, but the borders are the ones that take the time. The larkspur going up the side. Beautiful though. They've been really fun, the labels. So this is the larkspur. Padded satin stitch, going different ways. And the texture, oh man, they're shining in the light. This is just DMC. Who needs silk, eh? Then the next one was hawthorn, and this has got the little recipe for the jelly, which I just think was just so fun. And this is the one I think I made a mistake in one of the flowers, but I wasn't ripping out on 40 count needle and flax, so I just left it, and I don't think you can tell. I mean, very cute though, the little recipe. I think this is my favourite. I think this is my favourite. I haven't cut these down because I was worried they weren't going to fit. Look at those leaves, the satin stitch and the hawthorn berries. So all padded satin stitch. And maybe long and short stitch for the flowers. Isn't it pretty? Almost looks like a strawberry flower, doesn't it? I remember where I was in France when I stitched that. It's funny how you associate your stitches with where you were. Now this is lavender. All the names for, look, little Lottie. All the names for the different English lavenders. That was a quick stitch, I think. And this. So these are a mass of bullion knots, which I just love. And a silk bow at the bottom. So pretty. Then we've got echinacea in a medicine bottle, remedy for colds, flu, toothache, anxiety, inflammation, cough. That was fun. Took forever to stitch. And echinacea is the coneflower. A pile of French knots for the centre in dark browns, and then padded satin stitch in different colours for the flowers. Beautiful colours, peaches and creams, really pretty. Next was the poppies, which weird for me, that's in November, but I think this was September maybe. In Flanders fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row. And all the little poppies, oh yeah, very pretty. And I think this is my least favourite because I'm not a fan of long and short stitch. I just don't know if I've got it down, but I don't know. I did my best. And the pistol stitch for the little dark seeds on the poppy. So yeah, I've done my best. Is it good enough? I don't know. It's an unusual poppy because it's not red, but. And then we had Yarrow. I love this one. So this is William Wordsworth. But that I know, where'er I go, thine genuine image, Yarrow will dwell with me to heighten joy and cheer my mind in sorrow. I think that would be a good one for January, wouldn't it? I'm all right in January because it's my birthday, so I always get to go somewhere or do something fun. But I think January can be such a long month for a lot of people. After Christmas, you sort of come down, it can be a bit depressing. This is the gorgeous Yarrow. Look at it, piles of French knots. They just shine and catch the light. There's about 4 different whites in there. I showed you this, didn't I, recently, last time? They're very, very textured. So you have like 3 wraps in the middle, going to 1 wrap on the edge. So it's very different textures. And then the open fly stitch, which I love on the leaves. So that's Yarrow, one of my faves. And then this month, no, last month was Lady Elder. So this is a portrait one. Give me some of thy wood and I will give you some of mine when I become a tree. Lady Elder. And this is the elderberry. And again, probably not my best work. I did my very best with these padded satin stitch berries for the elderberry. They do look okay at a distance. And those humdinger satin stitch leaves. But actually that was with 2 threads. They weren't meant to be perfect. They were meant to be a little bit more rusticy with 2 threads. You'll never get them to lie dead flat. But yeah, it looks, I love the colours. There are 3 different pinky purples there. So very pretty. That's the elderberry. And that's it. The only, so I showed you the start of my label. I haven't had the kit yet. It's going to be Helleborn, which is winter or Christmas rose. And the labels to cut down and finish those. A couple of other finishes. So in the summer, I had the Vintage Carnival kit, and it had a big panel of, I think it was 12 stitches. And there's one that I've shown you in the summer that I did. So I did the big top. I guess you could keep those and use them as little quilt panels. They'd be really cute. This is a stitch I did later in the year using a little print I had in my Valentine's shop I must have done, because I think it was a chart that they threw in and for free if you spent so much or something. And so what I did was I padded a piece of velvet and used the little label that they gave with the kit on this gorgeous slubby linen. And then I just did a load of different stitches around the edge. The wheel rose, a couple of like sequins to give it a little bit, a load of mini French knots in a red silk, lots of different things just to make it fun. And I'm thinking of keeping this for my little meditation book. I need to keep certain things that are precious to me to put in there. So that's one I could do. Then when I went to Kentucky, to Walton's Creek, Nikki Franklin gave us this little kit, which I finished. I absolutely love. It's meant to look like a wreath, and looking through the window, there's paint, dark Payne's grey. You can just see to give it some depth, so it feels like you're looking through a window. Padded satin stitch pumpkins and loads of lazy daisies on those chrysanthemums. French knots, a couple of roses, just fabulous. All DMC. Was it DMC? Yeah, I think it was. Then we went down to Cornwall to Cowslip to stay at Goodmansley Barns for Nikki Franklin's stitchery retreat with her and her mum and her sister and Caroline and all the girls. And it was so much fun. And that was a real treat because it was invite only at that point. And I was greatly honoured to go down and spend time with Nikki properly. And her sister gave us this lovely French letter chart. And so we all stitched our names. So I'm going to save mine and put it in my meditation book. I was going to make a little pincushion to leave on my sewing machine, but I think I'm going to do that. And isn't it pretty with the berries in the letters? So everyone did their initials and made a little pillow. And then this was the kit we had. I think it's called A Quiet Day in Autumn. And we painted the linens. And we stuck on the house. We bond-to-web the houses on with different slubby linen over the top in a different colour. And a million French knots. I love this. I've got to lace it and frame it. I've got a little gold frame. A white frame didn't work for it, so I've got a little gold one, and I'm going to put it in there because it just makes the leaves on the trees pop. That is such a cute thing. Yeah. So that was that. And then Christmas, we had the Advent box, and it was based on the Christmas songs of the season. And the first one was, so there were 9 little cross-stitch kits in the 25-day Advent box, which was an amazing box. I've had it for about 5 years now, and I've hardly stitched any of the things, but I always get sort of 3 or 4 done. And the first one on day 1 or 2 was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So I did get Rudolph stitched with his rather fabulous satin stitch scarf. And then the second song on about day 5 would have been, was this one, Deck the Halls, with the little crowns on the robins and all of that satin stitch holly leaves. Really sweet finish. Not sure what I'm going to do with these. And then the third one, which was a bit of fun, was When Santa Got Stuck Up the Chimney. A load of satin stitch. So fun. And the parcels with a little bit of gold thread. Yeah, I remember sitting in front of a Christmas film and stitching that one evening. So that's all my finishes. I haven't got my quilts. I spoke at the beginning what I worked on. 2 other whips. 2 other whips I started this one with Merritt Crawford, and I never finished it. So this is the Christmas wreath of little hydrangeas, I guess they are. I think that's beautiful, so I really want to do that. And this was the one from Christmas in July, when we went to the stitchery for the day. We had this beautiful kit, and Britta and I and Caroline all started this. It's not ironed, I apologise, but this is amazing. And this Christmas I have done a few of the satin stitch parcels at the bottom. It's just going to be stunning when it's finished. And there are 3 I've got now. One was from Christmas Eve last year. I had the Christmas Eve one this year, which I haven't even opened yet. and this was Christmas in July. So it's called, they're all from the Elf series. This is the third she's designed now, and I think there are going to be 12, and you could put these in a quilt block beautifully. And this one is called Checking the List, because that long thing here is going to have it's going to be Santa's checking the list. And all the little elves are packing the parcels at the bottom of the ladder. So sweet. And I've done the green. So I'm halfway, maybe a bit more. So I can't wait to get back to that. But I don't know. Christmas is not a good time for stitching, is it? Because I just feel the family are all here, which is lovely. And of course you want to spend time with them. You can't, I feel guilty sloping off. And it's not as if any of them would stitch with me. So I think they will think I'm completely mad. So I tend not to. I live in the moment. When they're home, I really enjoy time with them. And that's that. The only last thing I've got to show you is the one quilt that I did finish, which is a bit of a cheat because it's a panel. But I have to say, it was such a successful thing because it lives out on the settee. And it was the panel I bought from Hands Across the Sea for Elizabeth Stevenson, who was the Queen of the May. I've got the chart, I've got the silks. I didn't start her, but I did make the quilt. And this was so much fun. I literally had to wait until I had the house empty so I could lie it on the floor and draw my crosshatch quilting all along it. And then, of course, I split it wrong, didn't I, on the back? The panel is to one side and it should be dead centre, but I'm going to forgive myself that. And I really enjoyed hand binding that and just sitting watching a film. Yeah, the fabrics are beautiful. So I feel I've kind of got that hats panel, Hands Across the Sea panel idea kind of out of my system now. I really enjoyed making it. So hopefully I'll get some more quilts finished this year because I've just started the fabulous new Vice Versa quilt stitch along with Lori and the Fat Quarter Shop and quite a few other girls. Somebody called the Felted Pear got in touch with me yesterday to say that she's doing the stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop as well. So we're going to help each other out because the one thing that I'm not very good at is choosing scrappy colours. You know, I like to be told what to choose for I struggle to pick my own colours, so it's really hard trying to match up what the blocks, what the Fat Quarter Shop have used. I kind of want to do the same as Kimberly and be a copycat, but it's not going to be that straightforward. I'm going to have to be creative and let all the rules go out the window. We'll see how we get on with that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this extra floss tube of all my finishes and whips. I can't believe there was so much actually from the year. I'm really excited for 2026. I'm definitely going to be doing Whip Go. I'm definitely going to be doing Hands Across the Sea Maria Wales Newson. I've got the Lichen and the 103 silks to go. I'm going to be doing the GH 1857 stitch along with Rebecca and all the gang. I'm going to be starting the Across the Pond stitch along with Sew Me Sarah and Marie, Stitches in Diamonds, and Gunter. They use their linens, and who else? And Angie from the Tiny House Stitchery, and a load of other people. I'm sort of new to the party with the Across the Pond group, but I've got the kit and I can't wait to start. So that's going to be on the 12th, I think. And I started my Vice Versa quilt along with Lori Holt and Fat Quarter Shop yesterday, or 2 days ago on the 5th. All I did was take photos on the 5th. I started cutting some fabrics today. So it's a really busy time. There are so many stitch alongs and so little time to do it all in. But what a lot of fun. I feel really enthused for the new year, and I hope I'll keep coming back monthly and have the energy to do these floss tubes. But anyway, I've rambled on way too long. I'll be back in 2 weeks with my January update. In the meantime, happy